Hey, welcome to the Note Queen podcast. This is Dawn Rickaby, your host, and you can find me over at notequeen.com. Sign up if you will, or if you're on the podcast, subscribe, or go over to YouTube and subscribe, wherever you are. Would love for you to tap in and get some more of this good stuff. We're usually talking about property and paper, as you may know if you've been hanging around. But I just would be remiss if I did not tell you guys, if you don't know already, the whole financial system is undergoing a radical paradigm shift, and I want you guys to be prepared. And so I believe that diversification and hedging your bets and having lots of money in different places will be good for your portfolio and protect you from being blindsided by things that I guess most people, maybe the ideas are fringe at this point. But you know me, I'm the Note Queen. I'm always talking about stuff that can be weird, like preparedness. Like I'm telling you guys, go to the store and buy an extra few cans of things, because you should be able to survive for 1 month, one whole month, without going to the store or ordering on Amazon. And if you can do that, food, water, medicine, heat, light, all of those things, I would be very, very pleased that I did my job. So, speaking of the paradigm shift that we are currently in case you're snoozing on it, I have a very gifted, wonderful human being, Andrea, here to talk with us. She's just amazing. And she will introduce herself better than I can, probably. But all I know is this is a person that I listen to, and I trust her, and she's very good at helping new people, us boomer types, to understand this world of crypto. So welcome, Andrea. I'm so happy to have you on the show. It's just such a delight, and I appreciate your time and attention. I know you're a very busy lady, especially with this bull run going on. It's probably spent a lot of time just fanning yourself off.
This is very true. And yes, I am so busy. I mean, during a bull market, Dawn, I'm just working 24/7. So that's just the
Yeah.
way it is. And I feel so grateful. I'm so happy to be here. And we're going to talk about Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and some of the changes in the market. But just a quick intro about myself. My name is Andrea Caldero. You could go to hodalon.me. That's my website. I was an IT recruiter for over 20 years, and I worked with primarily Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies. So the Federal Reserve Bank, the Department of Defense, many banks, trading companies, just very large organizations. And my task was to find IT talent to build these machines, cloud computing, AI, machine learning, like all of the super fun stuff that no one really wants to hear about. But so back in 2020, when the world kind of shifted, right after this paradigm shift, when we were told to stay home, basically what I did was I jumped online. I went to the World Economic Forum's website because I've been following them since 2005. And I was listening to Klaus Schwab, the leader of the World Economic Forum, and he was saying, now is the time for the fourth industrial revolution. And I know you and I have been in crypto for a while. I got into crypto back in 2017, didn't really pay that much attention to it. I bought Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, a couple coins, put it on my Trezor wallet, and literally kind of forgot about it, right?
Forgot about it. Yeah, totally.
Right?
Yeah.
So back in 2020, I'm like relearning how to do all of these things. And I talked to my wife and I was like, this is it. Like they're moving us into a new financial system. And this system is going to be leveraged on technology, which is called the blockchain.
Right.
So so for anyone who really doesn't understand, I just want everyone take a step back. Remember Amazon.com. It started off as an online bookstore. And people were going to go online and they were going to put their credit card number on the computer to buy books. And there was a lot of backlash. People aren't going to do this. No one's going to put their credit card online. we're not going to trust these computer systems. They're a fad. People said home computers were a fad. Mainstream media said this. They were like giggling. And so then all of a sudden, we can send emails back and forth to each other in an instant for free. We're sharing information anywhere in the world, like instantly. So back in I guess it was 2009 when Bitcoin white paper was dropped, right?
Mhm.
Now we can send value of anything through the internet without a third-party intermediary. We don't have to ask for permission from the banks, from Venmo, from PayPal. We can use the blockchain. I can send you Bitcoin. You can receive Bitcoin. We don't ask permission. I just sent you value through the internet. You just received it with no third-party intermediary. And I don't really fully think that people understand what a technological revolution that is. Because
Right.
if I send you an email, I get a copy of that email, you get a copy of that email. But because the way the code was written, now if I'm sending you Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency, it's deducted out of my account, deposited into your account. Mind-blowing stuff.
Yeah, it is absolutely stunning. And it's funny, just yesterday, there's a gal I'm going to be doing some work with, a coach. I believe in paying, I coach people, but I also believe in paying for coaching. And it was a nice little chunk of change. And I said, haha, don't suppose you take payment in Bitcoin? Not that I want to give any up right now, but just for instance, would you take it? And she goes, oh, I've been thinking I need to figure that out, but I haven't. But no, I'll take your wire for US dollars. And I go, okay, well, I tried, but
Yeah.
it's just as soon as people realize the value of it. It's just people's confidence. So let's go over. I've heard so many people, my age and older, that are like, hey, it's just digital money. It can be shut down. It can go away. It can lose value. It's backed by nothing. What do you say to that, Andrea? What's your answer?
I mean, normally I want to ask people, if you're listening to this, do you know who the chairman of the Federal Reserve Bank is? Who's the treasurer of the United States of America? And I would guarantee you that 80% of people listening will not know the answer to that question. So let's take a step back and be like, wow, how were we not educated on our current monetary system? How much did we learn about money when we were in high school, college, getting our master's degree, whatever it is? We literally had no financial education. So that's my first thing. The second thing is that our United States dollar was backed by gold, but was taken off the gold reserve back in the early 1970s. So our United States dollar is fully backed by the faith and trust of our central banking system. And the person in charge of the banking system, his name is Jerome Powell. So back in 2020, when the government told us to stay home and watch Netflix and don't worry, only essential workers are going to work, they have the privilege of printing money. We have the world reserve currency. We can print dollars literally, Dawn, out of thin air. So now over the course of the past 4 years, what have we seen? Because of all of that money that was printed, we debased our currency. We need more dollars to go buy food, our electric bills, basically everything that we purchase, all goods and services, we need more dollars. It's not that things are getting more expensive. Our currency has been debased. It's not just our currency. It's every currency in every country around the world.
Yep.
Here comes Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer computer software platform that we can send each other Bitcoin without a third-party intermediary. There's no CEO, there's no government involvement. And when people say that Bitcoin isn't backed by anything, well, it really is backed by energy, right? A lot of people say that Bitcoin is bad for the environment, and I'm here to demystify some of these myths, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a small town in northern Vancouver that mines for Bitcoin, and they can store that heat from the Bitcoin mining, and they provide electricity for that small town.
That's so great. Yeah.
Isn't it amazing? Isn't
Yeah.
it amazing? Shell Corporation was the sponsor of the Bitcoin conference that was held in Miami about 2 years ago. And when we burn oil, that's called shale. That burning of the shale, it creates pollution for the atmosphere. But now Bitcoin miners are set up and they collect that shale without just burning it off into the atmosphere. And they're paying the electric company for that cheap energy to mine the Bitcoin. And if
Wow.
they're doing this in a state of Texas, when it's really, really hot, the Bitcoin miners can shut down, provide that stability for the energy grid. So when I think about Bitcoin, I believe that Bitcoin is backed by energy.
Interesting.
And isn't that interesting?
That's an interesting way to package up the conversation.
Right. And then there's only 21 million Bitcoin. So when we need more dollars, right, to fund all of these wars, all of the things that we do, we just turn on the printing press. You can't do that with Bitcoin. There's
Right.
21 million Bitcoin.
The
There's
end.
only the ends, right? There's about 19,000 of them, just over 19,000 in circulation. So we have a finite, scarce asset that is being adopted by all of the top financial institutions in the world right now.
You know, but if you're just a person that listens to the regular news, I don't know that you know this. Or are they starting to leak it out now? You know, like it's been under wraps or they've just been dogging it. They've been dogging it hard on public, and in the back, they've been buying it up and positioning themselves before retail gets a sniff of the opportunity. And where have we gone from? How long has it been? How many months since we were at 2025 to now that we're, you know, at all-time highs, basically? That hasn't been more than what, 3 or 4 or 5 months at the most?
Correct. So I spent this summer in New York, and I joined the Chamber of Commerce in this small town in upstate New York, and I did a couple crypto meetups. Bitcoin was trading at about $20,000 in August.
August. Yeah, I want to say
So
about then. Yeah.
So September, October, November, December, January, February, March, 7 months, we went from 20,000. Yesterday, we actually broke all-time high for Bitcoin at $69,100.
Oh, no kidding. It actually did get over it. Like, yeah,
It did get over it. It got rejected and we came back down.
right.
But here's the question I want to pose to everybody. All of these spot Bitcoin ETFs. So now you could go to the New York Stock Exchange, you could go to NASDAQ if you have an account with Fidelity, Merrill Lynch, you know, whatever it is, you can buy exposure to Bitcoin. Okay, which is what is happening right now. And what we're seeing is about 500 $500 million a day for the past couple of weeks have been flowing into these spot Bitcoin ETFs. And I believe, Dawn, and this is going to sound a little crazy, but we are just getting started because every country is going to add Bitcoin to their treasury. Every corporation, every company, every bank is going to add Bitcoin. This is a global asset. There is no borders. It is trustless. You just have to trust the code. And the code was written in a way that, again, there's no one controlling Bitcoin. When you think about if you have an account with Bank of America, there's one server. Okay, so there's one point of failure. With
Mhm.
Bitcoin, think of it this way. There's over 17,000 servers all across the world. It is almost literally unhackable with the tools that we have today.
Right.
So it's safer, it's more secure than keeping your money in the bank, in my personal opinion. I believe in diversification. We all need to have money in the bank. But again, when I think about where Bitcoin is heading to over the course of 2024, it's not going to slow down.
Yeah, good point. There's always manipulation in every market, and there's manipulation in the crypto market. The whole reason that gold and silver are at the prices they are is because they've been suppressed for a long time. And we see all sorts of naked short selling shenanigans on Wall Street, GameStop, AMC, some of these big ones where
Yeah.
retail pretty much made a short squeeze on the hedgies. So, of course, it's manipulated, and there's a lot of money flowing in, people. And so that means they can also yank it all of a sudden if they want to drop the price temporarily. But this is a technology that's been in place since, was it 2009 or 2008?
Yes. I think
Okay.
2008, 2009.
Okay. So this is going nowhere, people. And I know it sounds heretical to some people, but everything, real estate, loans, the way you make interest on your money, all real world assets, I would guess by the end of the decade, and correct me if I'm wrong, I would guess all real world assets by the end of the decade will be on the blockchain. You'll have your cloud storage in the blockchain. You'll have your personal identity on the blockchain. You'll have your websites on the blockchain. Flesh that out or correct me.
So you're 100% correct. Every stock, every bond, every commodity, insurance, real estate, anything of physical value is going to be tokenized and put on the blockchain. And you will hold your ownership having that address, having that token in your wallet is your proof of ownership to this tokenized asset. So I think that's great that you brought this up because it's not just about Bitcoin. Okay, so I know if people are like, wow, I just came across Dawn's podcast, Bitcoin is already 69,000. I only have $1,000 to invest. I don't really want to buy Bitcoin at 69,000. Well, there's a whole world out there, just like in the .com era. We are in the blockchain and artificial intelligence era. So everything is getting transitioned over. And I believe that this is the biggest wealth transfer ever to take place in human history. And I don't say that lightly. I've been studying this for 24/7. I became a certified decentralized financial expert just to learn as much as I possibly can. So, most people are like, what is that? And that's fine.
Right.
You can't learn this in 30 seconds, right?
No.
But we're still early because I agree with you. We have the rest of the decade to learn about what cryptocurrency projects are going to be disrupting real estate, insurance, payments, digitizing trading documents. You pick whatever you're good at. If your knowledge base is in real estate, then it makes sense to look at real estate projects that are on the blockchain that are going to disrupt our current real estate process. One of my favorite projects that I've been talking about for a couple of years now is called Proppy. Really cool project. But I really think this is the time to get educated, to do some research, reach out of your comfort zone, make the investment in yourself. Because when I was talking about Bitcoin at 20 grand, now it's 69,000. If people just took a little bit of time out and researched it, statistically speaking, people who do this and research Bitcoin and crypto, 100% invest in cryptocurrency, because we're moving to a new financial economy, right? And then when you research it and you get it, you get it.
Yeah, I'm same year that you did, 2017 is when we stumbled into it. And we just had the hit that we needed to do it. Didn't really understand it, but we kept hearing some millennial type that was just like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Ethereum. And finally, it's just like, Don, go figure out how we do it. I think we should do it. Now you need to go figure out. So I figured out how to buy it and to get it on a ledger. Of course, now I don't use Ledger. The Engrave, and then you hooked me up SafePal and Engrave. Anyway, it just means it's a cold storage, which I don't need to get into the weeds on that. But we didn't know what we were doing. So sometimes it's the paralysis of analysis at a time like this, when the whole world is changing, when the whole financial system is transitioning. If you sit on it and have to understand how electricity works before you flip on the switch, you're going to miss a massive opportunity. Of course, the first time I told my family, wrote a nice big email, it was at the top of the market in 21, and then it fell off, right? And then it got boring and there was blood in the streets and my portfolio was down 75%, so I looked pretty dumb. So most of the people, though, they bought a little and they just hung on. Some like bought high and then sold low. And I'm like, oh, please, you need to get a mentor for one thing. And Andrea has a Telegram channel that you can pay to be on. And there's Take Action for Freedom. About last summer, I'm begging my sisters, have you guys positioned? My sister goes, because I've been investing some of her money. She has it in a self-directed IRA. So I've had her in some note deals with me and things like that. And so this one, she got paid off and she says, what do you think I should do with my money? And then she got another payoff on another loan, not that I had done. She says, Don, what should I do with my money? And to me, I'm looking at her situation. And at first I said, pay off the mortgage on your house. You could write $100,000 check and own your home free and clear. I think based on where she's at in her life, that was good. And I said, with your qualified money, I said, here's what I would do. I would roll over some into iTrust. I mean, it's nice for me to have easy money to work with. Like I say, do this deal. We do the deal. There's no questions. It's easy, right? But I'm looking after my sister. Like if I was just self-interested, I would say, leave your money there because then I can just use it whenever I want. But I said, no, you should be getting into some gold and silver, roll over to gold and silver, have some precious metals exposure and have some crypto exposure in your qualified account. Well, I just can't, it just seems like I said, I'll do it for you. Just say yes. And she was like, no, I just feel better. I feel safer with money in the bank and I just don't want to do it. And I was just like, okay, well, all right. And then my other sisters, I'm begging her, it's boring. It's low. Buy more now. Please do it. And then they didn't. And then, but I did the same thing. If I would have listened when I first heard about Bitcoin, your note queen here would be having multiple kingdoms and queendoms and whatever she dang well please. I'd be a multi-millionaire by now if I bought when I first heard about it under $100 and kept it till now. And then there's other things where I didn't listen either. So it's frustrating because then they say, Dawn, you're doing pretty good right now, aren't you? Gold's up, Bitcoin's up. And I said, yeah, I mean, it's looking great, but I don't get overly excited because if you're only happy when things are up, then guess what? You're crushed when things are down. We want to stay neutral. We don't want to get too wrapped up and let ourselves go, hey, life is okay when things are going great. And when it doesn't seem to be, we don't want to do that. But just recently, my sisters are like, I should have done what you told me. But since I didn't and I missed it, I just put all my money in a CD in the bank. And I'm like, oh my God, we're still early. Just because you didn't get in 6 months ago doesn't mean I go,
I know, I know, I
It's
know.
so hard. It's so
I'm
hard.
with you. I'm with you. And so it's such a good point, right? So back in the day, there was no one that you can hire to become your own bank, right? When you buy physical gold and silver, you're holding value in your hand, no third party intermediary.
Yeah.
So if you go to Coinbase and you buy some crypto and you want to become your own bank, you have to set up a hardware wallet, something that you mentioned like an Engrave or SafePal. You're becoming your own bank. Now, I'm here to help people become your own bank. And
Yeah.
I teach weekly classes for Take Action for Freedom with Robin Openshaw. And I just break down all the projects, all the adoption, the amount of development, and just going over the basics over and over again. So we have a really good understanding of what is happening. And again, it takes a hot minute, but we have those weekly classes every Wednesday night. I think they're 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
And also you do your own thing as well. And I've been on that Take Action for Freedom since day one. And I don't know how I was blessed to get involved, because between 2017 and then after the pandemic, I just threw my mind into crypto. And, you know, that was all I was doing there for 4 years. But then after I got to a certain level, then I got on with Robin. But then I turned my business back to my core love affair with real estate and notes and being your own bank, becoming the bank, mom and pop. I mean, and I keep saying this, but I haven't asked a bank permission to close anything for over 25 years. My line in the sand is mom and pop deals, owner financing or private money partners, but I do not deal with banks. That's just me. That's just my love. And this whole crypto thing is like, you want to talk about becoming the bank. You want to talk about unplugging from Washington and Wall Street. Okay, I love owner financing and notes and the discounted note business and all of that. But I'm got to tell you people that this crypto, there's scams and there's risk everywhere. Okay. But that's why you need the coaches to help you. And even after I had been studying for a few years, I was so happy to find this group that I'm still a part of. And then hooking up with Andrea, even on a deeper level on the side. But Andrea's just incredibly wonderful and trustworthy. And trust me, as the market gets more and more bullish, there's more and more scam artists out there. So you have to be very, very careful. I'm like crypto bullish, and I'm probably more aggressive than your standard person, but it's still only a certain segment of my portfolio. I have real estate, I have notes secured by real estate, I have gold and silver, I've got a ton of, well, I shouldn't be saying this. You're not, when you're prepping, you don't advertise, because guess what? People come knocking on your door.
It's so true.
but I just have to get the word out. So like my diversification is I have seeds, I have land to grow my own food. I mean, that's a big part of my investment. Heck, if you want to double your money, go buy extra groceries and wait 6 months and they'll be worth twice what you pay for them now. That's the easiest way to double your money ever, right? So when I'm taking profits, a lot of it will transition into some of these platforms that we've talked about before, where okay, if I make a private loan, yes, I can make money. I can make interest all the time, and it's secured by real estate. But I can do the same thing in the blockchain world. So I can put my crypto up so people can borrow it. And people borrow it for various reasons, which I don't understand all of them, but they will borrow it and they will pay me interest. Okay, so everything we do in real estate and note investing, there's a parallel in the digital space, in the blockchain space. Would you flesh how that works a little bit? If like you're on Aave or some of these other platforms, how does that work in the crypto space? If let's just say Ethereum goes up to 10 grand, probably in this bull cycle, not hard to imagine, probably a lot more by the end of the decade. But so I put that, I stake that. No, I'm not staking it. Well, there is the staking part. There's staking. So how does the staking relate to me putting it on Aave and lending it out? So can you flesh those two ideas out? Because there's at least two ways, if not more, for us who like passive income, and it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So will you take those concepts and just flesh them out? Because a lot of the people that tune in, they're looking for cash flow. They're looking for return on investment, safe return on investment.
Awesome. So the safest way we can make a return on our investment, let's say you have Ethereum and you can stake your Ethereum to the blockchain. So when we stake our tokens, we're kind of helping these nodes, which are just servers, right? What we just talked about. We just help stabilize the blockchain.
Okay, but what does staking mean? Like, staking means the equivalent of I've taken money out of my IRA and I'm putting it, I'm sending it to escrow and it's getting locked up. Now the money's going to go somewhere else and I have a secured interest in the property. And then they're going to pay me interest. So staking is the equivalent of sending your money to escrow. It goes out. You know, staking is a weird word. So what staking means, it's my money's gone. I've locked it up somehow for someone to use for some reason.
So that's kind of the old financial system. And the new financial system, so it depends. With Ethereum, you do lock up your tokens for a certain period of time, but there's all different platforms. So take, for example, Cardano and Hedera Hashgraph. Those are two tokens we could stake, earn passive income with Hedera every single day. You are earning Hedera. You can unstake your tokens at any time, send them back, or if you wanted to sell, convert back into dollars if you want to go do, a real estate investment deal. With Cardano, same thing. You can unstake your tokens at any time. They're not lending out your tokens. It's not like when you give your money to the bank takes all of your money and lends it out to someone else. In the new paradigm, this is different. I would think of it more like a CD. Like if I'm taking my Ethereum, I'm agreeing to lock it up for a certain period of time. I'm going to make X amount percentage return. Then I'm agreeing to do that.
Right. And the way they're generating the money to pay you is by running a node and validating and earning fees by validating transactions, correct?
And sharing those fees with us who are helping stabilize that blockchain. Absolutely. That's exactly how it works.
All right. Okay,
so that's the first part of staking.
Right.
Now we can lend our crypto and earn even higher rewards.
Right.
By using a platform like you just said, Aave. Aave is a decentralized lending platform built on the Ethereum network. So if I could go to Aave and I can lend out some of my Ethereum and earn even higher fees passively. Okay. I could borrow against my Ethereum without going to a bank for a loan. I could borrow against my Ethereum. So I'm taking a loan against my money, which is Ethereum, and then I can pay myself back. A lot of times we do this by staking Ethereum. We could take those rewards that we're getting from staking and pay back our loan that we just took out. Does that make sense?
Is that also on the Aave blockchain? So you could lend it to others or you could borrow yourself. You could be the borrower.
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
So basically that's the equivalent in the insurance industry of infinite banking, where you can borrow from yourself and the interest that the insurance company is paying you is paying back your loan. So you borrow, you never have to pay back.
Correct.
And that's another great way to make that's the closest we're going to get to a bank, people. Just make up money out of thin air, like make loans and never pay back. So it's just absolutely mind-blowing. And these are still developing technologies. And granted, we're still pretty much in the wild, wild west. It's not really fit for retail yet. I mean, you have to be willing to, in our business, we say, take control of your own retirement. Fire your financial planner, roll your funds over into a self-directed IRA, and figure out how to invest your own money. Well, this is the same thing, just in the blockchain world, where you've got to, if you want to preserve and grow your wealth, you got to just be willing to roll up your sleeves and learn new things and be uncomfortable for a while and make a few little mistakes, but nothing that's, as long as you have some guidance, it's acceptable risk. A lot of people are so wigged out about, things that you have self-custody over and this whole digital thing. And I'm going, that's because you are still under the delusion that our dollars are safe in the bank. I don't share that delusion. I feel less safe with money in the bank than I do in any crypto project.
And I agree with you. And again, like, how many people are listening to the FDIC meetings, right? All of our accounts are FDIC insured up to $250,000. I listened to the meeting over a year ago, and they're talking about that the people have more faith and trust in the banking systems than most people do in this room. And you have to think about these things because, again, if the banks are lending out 100% of their deposits, and we have a commercial real estate crisis, or we have these short-term fund loans that the Federal Reserve Bank gave to the banks to stop the banking collapse that started with Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank, right? We had a couple of banks fail. The Federal Reserve Bank stepped in, gave out these short-term fund banking loans that are about to expire next week, March 11th.
Yeah.
So,
1 year anniversary from the first bank basically going down. Silicon Valley Bank was on March 10th of last year, right?
correct.
All right. So, yeah. So basically they don't lend out 100% of what they have on deposit. They lend out like 900%. And if you think, if you have confidence in the dollar over Bitcoin, it's because you don't understand what happened in 1913 and what happened in, what year was it? It was 1970.
I believe it's 1971 when they took us
Yeah,
off.
I mean, you're just not understanding that. We're under a national delusion of the only reason the dollar is worth anything is because still people have confidence in it, but that's changing. And as soon as people have more confidence, other things, I'm just telling you, the dollar is a fiction. It's one of the greatest Ponzi schemes of all time. They put Bernie Madoff in prison, but somehow our bankers aren't. I don't know why. And you want to say, oh, well, all the criminals use Bitcoin and all these things. I said, are you kidding me? There's been more treachery done with the dollar and more fraud in the dollar than any other currency, period.
And that's 100% correct. So again, it's just like, if you have a dollar bill and you go get it tested, you have a high probability of having a test for traces of cocaine. Something to sit with and think about. We're all so protective over the dollar and so resistant about learning about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, which is the future of our financial system. We have to take a step back and ask these questions and just get curious.
Yeah.
What would the new system look like? Larry Fink is the CEO of BlackRock, the largest asset management company in the world with about $10 trillion of assets under management, saying that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is a flight to safety, buying record numbers of Bitcoin every single day, flowing into BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF. So this is happening, whether we want this to happen or not. Our world is changing. It's becoming more technology based. We see generative AI with ChatGPT, with the Apple iVision Pro glasses, content creators, the way that artificial intelligence can do things that humans can do, but so much better. We're entering into this new era. And it's fascinating to me to just go out in the community and talk to people, and they're like, I don't trust digital money.
Like, what do you
Well,
think you have right now?
right. Like, I don't trust that Bitcoin. And I'm like, well, why do you trust the dollar so much? I mean, we have the rise of the BRICS nations, right? Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and now we have Saudi Arabia, Ethiopia, Dubai. So many countries are joining the BRICS nations for trade. They want to trade in their own currencies, not the United States dollar. So the United States is losing its world reserve currency status. How long that takes, I don't know, but I don't want all my money in dollars. If I hold all my money in dollars, I'm losing purchasing power every single year. And I don't see anything happening in our world that is strengthening the purchasing power of the dollar. We are literally creating $1 trillion a month in debt. And we have to print money to pay off that minimum balance on our debt. It just doesn't make sense to hold all our money in dollars. It's so much better right now just to diversify. In my personal opinion, this is not financial advice. Dawn's into her. She's the note queen. I'm a techie geek. I was an IT recruiter. I'm not a financial planner. I'm not certified. But what I'm here to tell you is through all of my knowledge, all of Dawn's knowledge, all of our research, I'm 100% certain that we're moving into a new economy, because we are. Just type in the tokenization of the United States Treasury bond market. You'll see projects like Ethereum and Stellar
Yeah.
leading the way to tokenize the United States Treasury. Every stock, every bond, everything of value is being tokenized and put on the blockchain, not just Bitcoin. So no one's missed out. We're still early. But
Yeah.
Dawn, I do believe after we go through this Bitcoin rally, let's see what happens with Ethereum, right? I don't know if we're going to get the approval for the spot Ethereum ETF, which BlackRock has filed for. We'll find out in May. That's the deadline. Okay. But there's so many other projects that are still, right, Dawn, moving sideways. They're still like in their own bear market.
Yeah, there's some, that's what I wanted to tell my sisters is, okay, I don't know if you want to buy in at 60 plus thousand Bitcoin, but there's a lot of projects that are good that haven't started moving yet. So at least position a few $1,000s, or how much do you think? 10% of your liquid capital. Oh, that sounds, well, 5%. Well, just anything. Do something. There's still great opportunity, even though it'll pull back. Nothing ever goes up in a straight line.
Correct.
We tell ourselves in real estate that real estate will never go down. Come on, get off that one too. We said this before, right? Real estate can never go down. Yeah, we heard that right before the last crash. And I know they're pulling out all the tricks to keep asset bubbles going, but at some point it's going to run out of juice. And there's probably any number of black swans that could happen in the next, from today after we finish this podcast through the end of April, could potentially be wild. Things that we would never think could happen, even if it's just another couple bank failures or more. And besides, you talking about FDIC before, yes, they acknowledge we don't want to tell the people that we don't believe it. Don't tell them. We need them to believe in the system, or there'll be a run. Well, too late. There's already been billions of dollars that has left the banking system, and they're struggling. Now you add commercial real estate. What else do you need? It just needs a little tiny push, and we've got a whole. And that thing you posted on Telegram was, of course, the FDIC will cover you, provided there is enough assets. We'll take in consideration the circumstances and the resources at hand, and we should be able to take care of you. I'm sorry, FDI insurance promises are empty to me. Same with Social Security. I don't expect any money from the government to be there for me. I'll just be happy if they'll leave me alone and not try to steal everything that I have. I don't want anything from them. Just quit stealing stuff from me, you know?
Right. And think about what happened in Cyprus, Greece. All the citizens of Cyprus, Greece went to sleep one night and woke up and they got a haircut. 15% of their funds were taken out of their bank account because the government needed your money. Back in 2010, the United States passed the Dodd-Frank Act, and it legalized bank bail-ins. If and when the government or the banks need your money, they will take it, because once you put your money in the bank, you don't own that money. You don't. It's not your money.
They don't
And
have
again,
to. They don't have to.
exactly. So what we can do is we could go on our phone and we can download an app from our app store. Like the one you use is called Trust Wallet. I download the Trust app. I write down my seed phrase in case I ever forget my passcode or I lose my phone, and I can recover my bank back to my iPhone. That's a bank.
Yep.
So what happens when more and more people want to become their own bank? We don't need over 4,000 banks anymore. We are going to see a mass consolidation of banks.
Yep.
So I'm not trusting of everything that goes on with our government. I never was a political person. You know me, Dawn, I love everybody. I don't care. I love you. You know, like I love everyone. I want to help every single human being, right? Which is why I started podcasts. It's not really my thing, but here I am because I know there's such a small percentage of the population that can even help people do this. How do you become your own bank? Like I listened to this video for 500 times and I still don't get it, you know? So again, now's the time to make an investment in yourself. I cannot stress this enough, because if and when we have some sort of banking crisis, like another Lehman Brother moment, and I can see this coming, the Fed might step in, they might kick the can down the road, but at some point, we will have another financial crisis, because I believe we need one to usher in the fourth industrial revolution, to bring us into this new technological era. It's already done. The infrastructure has been built for every bank, every institution. I'm on their websites. I'm getting the information from
how many countries now have their own CBDC, central bank digital currency? How many countries?
So there's just a couple. A great website to check out is the Atlantic Council. Okay, and they have a list of who's in research, who's piloting the central bank digital currency, and who went live with their central bank digital currency. Because as I see artificial intelligence and automation getting ushered into all the major cities all around the world, in the United States, it is going to displace a lot of workers. So as workers need to get retrained, or we see AI create new jobs, hopefully, I think that the government will issue a central bank digital currency where you can download an app on your phone called the FedNow Payment Service. Go to the federalreservebank.gov and read about the FedNow payments, because it's a done deal. It's done. So if you want universal basic income, if we have a crisis, we have a cyber attack because the banks aren't on the blockchain. Well, here you go. The government will give you a solution, Dawn. You download this app, will digitally give you your money back. But as fast as they can digitally program that money into your app, they can also take it out.
Yep. I mean, people, they're already coming for your 401ks. Back in, was it Woodrow Wilson in 1933? It's turn in your gold coins. They said, oh, it's a matter of national security. There's no safe place. There's no 100% safe place. You may want to think there is, and I may want to think there is, but there isn't. So we just need to hedge our bets and just spread our money around, prepare yourself physically to survive a short-term issue. Diversify into some gold and silver, some that you hold, some that's in your qualified account. Same with crypto, some that's in a qualified account, some that you hold on your hard wallet yourself. That's the most of mine. Although I'll wish all of it was in a Roth IRA so I could take it all out tax-free, but then not your keys, not your coins, right? So
Exactly.
there's risk and reward with every single thing. And so the reason I hope you've enjoyed this little foray into this topic, I think it's super important for you to be sovereign and as economically resilient as possible. And so that's why the Note Queen that only talks about property and paper is talking about becoming your own bank in a different way, in a way that's coming, and we're still early. Prices will go up and down and we'll have other cycles, but it's something, if you've been on the sidelines, don't do it anymore. So Andrea, what's your contact information so that people can get in touch with you for your services and your coaching through the other program?
Cool. Yeah. So my personal website is HODL, because
So
there's a saying in crypto,
HODL.
hot, and it's hold on for dear life dot
Heck
me.
yeah.
So HODL.me. And I also do the mastermind class for Take Action for Freedom, and we'll have those links down below. You can email me directly at digitalcoach@protonmail.com. And I provide one-on-one sessions for anyone who needs support.
Yep.
Now is the time to definitely research, become your own bank. And I'm here for any support. If you're a boomer and you weren't raised right on these computers, there's no judgment. I literally teach people, Dawn, how to copy and paste. Okay. I will walk you through. I am there. And again, this is an opportunity for everyone, and we can all learn new things.
Absolutely. And I wouldn't bring you guys anyone that I wouldn't trust with my life. So there's my endorsement. And Andrea, thank you so much. I appreciate you. What a blessing to have you as a friend in my life.
Same here. Same here. Honored to be here, Dawn.
Okay. Thanks everyone for joining us. And we will see you next time around the Queendom. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.